recently started working with some new teams, and I've also been having conversations with people who are forming teams about what does success look like for a team, and what, particularly from a psychological perspective, do you need to build within the structure of the team to help it to be successful. So it has me, speaking again about what some of those key elements are that build a successful team. And I have been talking about this for many years, but particularly I wrote about this in 2019 when my first book, The Elite, came out. And there's a specific chapter in that book which is called Tell It Straight, which is about the role of honesty for each of us in terms of our success. So it's about honesty amongst those that we are working with, but it's also about being able to hold the mirror up, being honest with ourselves about what's going to be successful. So I'm going to go through with you what I consider to be the 5 key elements of a successful team. And I'm going to read to you a little bit from The Elite, because the thing that's important to me is, as an evergreen book, which means that it can be repeatedly shared, the messages of it, is that the research that sits behind all of this remains consistent. So we know that these elements, as important as they were 5 years ago, are just as important now. So when we have a look at what are some of the key elements of success for a team, the first one I would say is trust. And when it came to writing about trust, I said, trust takes time to build, and like a bubble can disappear in a moment. We need to trust those around us, and we need to trust ourselves, particularly in decision making. If you're reading this as an athlete or someone wanting to improve within yourself, learning to listen to yourself and trusting your gut reactions and decisions is an important skill on the path to success. If you are reading this as a coach, leader, or mentor, your ability to build trust with those you lead is critical. This is achieved by being honest in your feedback and wise in your delivery of that feedback. If those you are responsible for trust your intentions, then you can deliver any sort of feedback, no matter how unpleasant that might be. So that trust element is really, I think, probably the cornerstone of building a successful relationship within a team. The next thing that we need within a team is respect. And to respect, I wrote, respect is a regard for the feelings and wishes of yourself or someone else. Whenever you are engaged in a difficult conversation, one of the key reasons that it may go badly is because people perceive there is a lack of respect. Respect seems to be a fundamental principle, and once crossed, people feel challenged to engage any further with the other person. You need to be able to maintain that relationship of respect. Respect for others, but also respect for yourself, because when you respect yourself, you'll make better decisions in terms of the things that you need for you to be successful. The next element of the 5 elements that bring about a successful team, remembering we started with trust and then we talked about respect, the next one is commitment. And in The Elite, I wrote, commitment to an activity is best demonstrated through your behaviour. Commitment is evident through the little things that you do regularly to help you reach your end goal, particularly those things you do when it seems no one is watching. Often commitment is the small things: getting enough sleep, staying hydrated, working through your to-do list, looking after your equipment. This commitment to the little things allows you to know you are being honest and behaving consistently with your goals. So commitment to the cause and what it is that you're doing and making those choices. You might remember in last week's video, if you watched it, it's not just what we choose to do, but it's what we don't change that we are also choosing. If that sounds complicated, go back and watch last week's video. The 4th element for what makes a successful team is communication. And isn't this the glue that holds everything together? Communication, whether it be with others or your internal dialogue, is a key element that makes us human. It is also the key reflection of your level of honesty. The way you think matters, and therefore the things you say out loud and to yourself are some of the biggest influences on your personal success. So that internal dialogue and that external communication is incredibly important in terms of your success. And then finally, the 5th element is to care is about caring. To care is what makes us human. Compassion and empathy for others is critical in team situations. However, before you can effectively care for others, you need to be able to care for yourself. And then I've written, the foundations for honesty within yourself and in your relationships are based on these 5 pillars. When you demonstrate to yourself and others genuine trust, respect, commitment, communication, and care, you are well on your way to achieving the basis of honesty. So I've discussed these pillars of success for teams with pretty much every coach, every athlete, every team that I've worked with. Coaches always engage with a conversation around this. They understand the importance of it. And I hope it gives you something to think about in terms of the teams that you're in. But also, these are the elements that you can think about for yourself as well. Before you start worrying about your relationships with others, you can think about yourself in terms of what can you trust yourself to do? What is your respect for yourself? What's your commitment to the things that you're working on and wanting to achieve? What does communication look like for you? And how do you care for yourself? If you'd like to find out more about some of the other videos that I've recorded, then please feel free to jump into either my Facebook group or into the YouTube channel. Plenty of resources in there. Would love to hear from you, your feedback on any other topics that you'd like to hear about in the video series.